Hello everybody, nice to have you all here today. Happy St. Valentine's Day, and today we have our webinar number 16. So today we will talk about environment and geography, and also we will practice some reading with you. So let's start with some vocabulary, and you can see here three categories of words. Some words are about natural disasters. Also, the second column is energy, and the third one is pollution. So let's try to look at these words together with you, and let's try to put them to the correct category. We will do it all together, and I will be waiting for your answers to the chat. Okay, thank you. Yeah, congratulations. I wish you happy St. Valentine's Day too. But thank you that you joined this webinar anyway. And let's think. Which words go to which category? So the first one is natural disasters, стихійні лиха, energy, that is clear, and pollution, забруднення. So let's start with the first one, that is waste dump. So what do you think, what category this word goes to? Waste. Waste, it's відходи, dump, звалище. So waste dump, it means сміттєзвалище, звалище відходів. So is it about natural disasters, energy, or pollution? So I'm waiting for your ideas, and we'll try to do it all together. Yeah, and the first one goes to pollution. Yeah, of course, waste dump. Сміттєзвалище. Then hurricane. So I'm sure you all know this word. Yeah, so you all learn this word in school. So hurricane goes to natural disasters. Hurricane, ураган. The next one is earthquake. Also an easy word, yeah, but please pay attention to the spelling. The spelling is really, really tricky. And earthquake goes to natural disasters. Землетрус. The next one is solar panels. So I'm sure you understand what is solar. That is connected to sun. Сонячні, panels, панелі. Pollution, забруднення. So solar panels, it means сонячні батареї. Yeah, but usually we say not sun batteries or solar batteries, but we say solar panels. And it's about energy, of course. So the next one is fumes. Fumes, пари, випаровування. It can also mean smoke, да, також може означати дим. And usually when we talk about fumes, we talk about something that is dirty, smelly, and it's about pollution. So once again, fumes, пари, випаровування. So the next one is acid rains. Токсичні дощі. And that is also about pollution. Okay. Next is fossil fuels. Fossil fuels горючі, корисні копалини. So some examples of fossil fuels are oil, coal, and it's about energy. Natural resources. So I'm sure that it's clear. So it's also about energy, природні ресурси. And the next one is renewable sources. So please pay attention that we have natural resources, but renewable sources. Source, it means джерело. Renewable, відновлювання. So when we say renewable sources of energy, we mean відновлювальні джерела енергії. For example, when we use solar panels and we get energy from sun, or when we get energy from wind and use wind turbines. So they are all examples of renewable energy sources. And the last one is avalanche. And I also think that you know this word, and it's about natural disasters. Avalanche, обвал сніговий або снігова лавина. Okay, so please look at all these words once again. Make sure you remember the meaning of them. And also pay attention to the phrases. Yeah, so all these words, not all, but a lot of these words form some collocations. Да, багато з цих слів використовуються саме в фразах. Тому, коли вчите слова, вчіть одразу з фразами, це дуже-дуже допоможе на ЗНО. And now let's try to practice. And you can see 6 sentences on this slide. So your task will be to complete the gaps with the correct words, and we will need to use some collocations, some set phrases. So you have the second word of the collocation in the sentence. So your task will be to think which word goes before. And again, so let's do it all together, and please put your ideas to the chat. So let's start with the first sentence. If it weren't for the effect, the world would be a colder place. So what can we use here? Якби не, то Земля була б холоднішою. And it's a very, very common phrase. So we often use it when we speak about environment, climate change. So which word can be used? And so that is a very, very common phrase. And it is greenhouse effect. Greenhouse – it's парник. And greenhouse effect – парниковий effect. So please remember this collocation, because very often when we have some texts about environment, about ecology, or when you need to write a letter, for example, also on this topic, we very often use this phrase. So greenhouse effect, парниковий effect. Yeah, not just green, but greenhouse. So let's go to number 2. Could renewable energy sources slow down the rate of change? So you know what is renewable energy sources? Yeah, we've discussed that. Renewable energy sources, it means відновлювальні джерела енергії. І речення звучить так. Чи можуть відновлювальні джерела енергії уповільнити? What? So the rate of, and it's climate change. Yeah, so number 2 is easy. Climate change зміни клімату. Good. Let's go to number 3. Hurricanes, landslides, and earthquakes are all examples of natural. Yeah, so we had this phrase on the previous slide, so I'm sure you remember it. And they are natural disasters. Природні катастрофи, стихійні лиха. Number 4. If the hole in the layer does not decrease in size, it will no longer protect the Earth from ultraviolet rays. Layer, it means шар. Yeah, so when we speak about atmosphere, when we speak about environment, very often we use this collocation. So I'm sure you know it. I'm sure you have seen it in some texts, in some tasks. And it's almost the same in Ukrainian, and that is ozone layer, озоновий шар. Yes, that is right. Yeah, I can see some answers in the chat, but in Ukrainian, yes, you're right. It means озоновий шар. Good. Number 5. More people should install panels. So what can we install? Install встановлювати. So what kinds of panels can we install? Especially in countries where there is a lot of sunshine. And number 5 is really, really easy. And we've got here solar panels, сонячні батареї. And let's go to number 6. Warming will cause sea levels to rise even more. So when we talk about warming, usually we use this phrase. And it will be global warming, глобальне потепління. Okay, so please look through these phrases once again. Make sure you remember them. So let's read them once again. Greenhouse effect, парниковий ефект, climate change, зміни клімату, natural disasters, стихійні лиха, ozone layer, озоновий шар, solar panels, сонячні батареї, and global warming, глобальне потепління. And let's look at some more phrases. So you know that I always tell you that collocations are very, very important, very useful to know. And now we will try to match some more set phrases. So you have some help in the brackets next to some words. You can see what part of speech it is, and we will try to match these collocations up. So to the chart, you can put the number and the letter. And first of all, before we start, let's read the endings. Let's read the words in the second column. So we've got here levels, рівень, рівні, famine. Famine, it means голод, голодування, but it's not about one person, when you are hungry, but it is more global. So we can use it when we talk about some nations or some countries or some parts of the world. Famine – голод, але в глобальному значенні. Не просто коли ми хочемо їсти, а коли ми говоримо про цілі нації, країни, частини світу. The next one is windstorms, урагани, shortages, недостача, crops, врожай, floods, повені, humid, it's an adjective, humid прикметник, so it means вологий, rotating, also an adjective, and it means той, що обертається. So let's start. Let's start with the first one, damage. So damage, it's a verb. Бачимо, що damage – це дієслово, це також може бути іменником. В даному випадку дієслово, and it means псувати або шкодити. And what can we use here? So some natural disasters can damage what? I can see that some people write that it is sea, but we can't damage. Ми не можемо пошкодити бурю, ураган, but what can be damaged? Yes, and it is E. So, for example, some natural disasters, like hurricanes or floods, they can damage crops. Стихійні лиха можуть пошкодити, зашкодити врожаю. So, damage crops – зашкодити врожаю, зруйнувати врожай. Then, number 2, flash. Flash, it means sudden, неочікуваний, раптовий. So what can be sudden? It can be used, it is commonly used in two collocations. We can say flash fire, раптовий вогонь, раптова пожежа, or we can use it with one more word, so it's one word from this list. And we can use it to talk about F, floods. Раптова повінь. So it is unexpected, it is sudden, so we can use flash with fire or with floods. Then number 3, powerful, потужний, сильний. So what can be powerful? Yes, and you are right. I can see some correct answers in the chat. It is C, windstorms, powerful windstorms. Сильний ураган. Then number 4, rapidly. Rapidly – швидко. So it's an adverb. Четвертий номер – це прислівник. So we know if it is an adverb, then after it we can use an adjective. Rapidly – це прислівник, значить після нього ми можемо вжити прикметник. Прислівники можуть описувати прикметники. And we have two adjectives here. We have G, humid – вологий, or rotating – той, що обертається. So what do you think suits here? And of course, it will be rapidly rotating. Той, що дуже швидко обертається. Number 5, severe. Severe – сильний, суворий. And we need to use a noun after it because severe it's an adjective. So let's choose which noun is suitable here. And for example, we can use it with famine, severe famine, сильний голод. Number 6, unbearably, нестерпно. And you can see that it has suffix ly, unbearably. It's an adverb once again, so after an adverb we need to use an adjective. Unbearably також у нас ще один прислівник тут, тому що має суфікс ly, ми пам'ятаємо про це. Тому далі в нас має йти прикметник. And that is G, humid, unbearably humid. Нестерпно вологий. Then 7, water. So we have only 2 words left. We have levels and what else? And shortages, yeah? And both of them we can use with water. So we can say water levels, рівень води. For example, water levels can rise, they can decrease. Yes, and we can say water shortages, нестача води, дефіцит води. Okay, so look through these phrases once again. Take a photo if you think that you don't remember some of them, and we will go on. So we will try to practice. And so now let's try to use these phrases, these collocations in some sentences, so in some context. So once again, let's read what we have here. Damage crops, пошкодити врожай. Flash flood, раптова повінь. Powerful windstorms, сильні, потужні урагани, бурі. Rapidly rotating, той, що швидко обертається. Severe famine, сильний голод. Unbearably humid, нестерпно вологий. Water levels, рівень води. Water shortages, дефіцит води. Now let's look at the first text. And let's try to choose which collocations, which phrases can be used here. And please pay attention to the meaning. So let's read the information. Let's look at the meaning. Yeah, and also we will try to think about grammar. So we will try to think what part of speech we need to use in each gap. And let's start with the first one. The heat may be, and then we need to use a phrase. And we can see that after be, yeah, we need to use an adjective or a noun. Після дієслова be в нас може вживатись іменник, може вживатись прикметник, може вживатись прислівник і прикметник, або прикметник і іменник. Yeah, but we can't use a verb here. So let's try to read also the next 2 sentences, and it will really help us. And heat, yeah, in the first sentence, heat means спека. Спека може бути якоюсь. And then after it, we have next sentences that makes people feel that it's even hotter than it is, and other times the heat may be very dry. Інколи спека може бути дуже сухою, а інколи... So, and let's try to think what we can use in one. Yes, right, you are. I can see the correct answer. That is unbearably humid. Спека може бути нестерпно вологою. Good. Let's go to the next gap. This dry period and cause health problems for many people. So first of all, we can see here and after and we use a verb. Тут ми бачимо сполучник and, сполучник сурядності, після нього ми вживаємо дієслово cause. Значить, перед ним також, відповідно, має бути дієслово. So let's think. We have a verb here. So in which phrases we use a verb, and what is logical? What can be used here logically and grammatically? Yes, and of course that is damage crops. This dry period damage crops and cause health problems for many people. Ці періоди спеки руйнують, шкодять врожаю і також можуть спричинити проблеми зі здоров'ям для багатьох людей. Right. Then the next text. They involve strong winds accompanied by torrential rain and lightning. And torrential rain, it means very heavy rain. Torrential rain, one more very good collocation, and it means дуже сильний дощ, проливний дощ. Також ще одна класна фраза. Ми можемо сказати heavy rain, сильний дощ, ми можемо сказати torrential rain. And the next sentence, the relatively large amount of rainfall in a short period of time can cause, and what can it cause? And we understand that here we can use a noun, yes, or we can use an adjective and a noun. Можуть спричинити що? Тобто далі тут нам потрібен іменник. So let's try to find the correct collocation for number 3. Yes, and they can cause flash floods. Можуть спричинити, тобто велика кількість опадів дощу за короткий період часу може спричинити раптові повені. Good. Yeah, water levels, we can't use here water levels because we have cause. Ми не можемо сказати спричинять рівень води. Наприклад, якби в нас було спричинять те, що рівень води підніметься, тоді так. А в даному контексті flash floods, вони спричинять повінь. Number 3. Not 3, it's number 4. They appear as columns. So you can see that columns, it's a noun. Columns – іменник. Що ми можемо вжити перед іменником? So it can be an adjective or it can be an adverb plus an adjective. Тобто перед іменником ми можемо тут поставити або просто прикметник, або прикметник з прислівником, щоб підсилити значення, або додати додатковий відтінок значення. So I will give you some time. I will be waiting for your ideas for number 4, and then we will go on. For powerful windstorms, so windstorm, it's a noun, yes, and here we need to use an adjective. So it can be an adjective or an adverb plus an adjective. Думаємо також про граматику. Думаємо, що перед columns, перед іменником ми можемо вжити або прикметник, або прислівник з прикметником. And we have some information about columns of air. And we will use here rapidly rotating. Yes, right you are. Колони повітря, які дуже швидко обертаються. So it's about a tornado. Це про торнадо. So rapidly rotating columns. Number 5. These are that form over tropical oceans. Yeah, so after these are, again, we can use a noun. So it can be a noun or an adjective plus a noun. And let's try to choose what is suitable here. But also look through the text. Yeah, so look through the information in the text, and it will try to help you. It will help you for sure. Yeah. So try to help yourself and look through the information in the text. So we have some information about storms here. And it's about powerful windstorms, right? Потужні бурі. And number 6. So they can cause an extreme rise in. В нас може бути різкий підйом чого? So when we have storms, when we have heavy or torrential rains, it can cause an extreme rise in and we can use here water levels. Тобто ці стихійні лиха можуть спричинити швидкий підйом рівня води. And the last text, and we have 2 phrases left, so let's try to choose for which gap we need to use each of them. They can last for days, months, or even years. Below average precipitation causes something. Below precipitation, it's опади, кількість опадів. Below average precipitation, it means рівень опадів нижче середнього, нижче звичного. Що може спричинити рівень води, рівень опадів нижче звичайного? Also, one more good word to remember for you is precipitation. Також запам'ятайте це слово, дуже часто зустрічається в текстах на цю тему. Precipitation – опади. And in number 7 we can use water shortages. Коли в нас недостатня кількість опадів, це може спричинити недостачу, дефіцит води. It harms agriculture and often causes among the local population. So we speak about population, we speak about people. So then we can use the last phrase here, that is severe famine. Тобто ці засухи, ці стихійні лиха можуть спричинити голод серед місцевого населення. Okay, good. Yeah, I can see so many correct answers. Thank you so much for your active work today. And let's go on. So let's relax a little bit and let's look at these pictures. So let's try to think. I'm waiting for your ideas and let's try to think what we can see in each of these pictures. So let's start with the first one and please put your ideas to the chat. Put the number and your ideas, what we can see in this picture. So the first one is about natural disasters, yeah, for sure. So what natural disaster we can see here? Подивіться на ці малюнки і спробуйте подумати, що на них зображено, які слова на тему клімат, екологія, природа ми можемо використати, щоб описати, що ми тут бачимо. So let's start with the first picture. And also please write numbers because it will be difficult for me to understand which word is for which picture. And I agree, number 1, that is hurricane. Hurricane, буря, ураган. Number 2. Well, also storm. Yes, I agree. It's possible to say storm about the first picture. We can also say hurricane. Number 2 is tornado. Tornado, I agree with you. Торнадо або смерч. Також можемо казати. Number 1, flash flood. Yes, maybe. Okay, number 3. Дуже сильна спека. So what can we call it? And we can say that it's heat wave. Heat wave – it's a period of very hot weather. Heat – it's спека, heat wave – період спеки. Зазвичай, коли ми вживаємо heat wave, ми говоримо про якийсь період дуже жаркої погоди. Number 4. So let's look through your ideas. Dry. Yes, okay, we can see that the land is really, really dry. We can see that the level of precipitations is below the average level. And we can say that it's a drought. Drought – засуха. So when it's very, very dry, it can cause a drought. And the last one is, I guess the last one is the easiest. Number 3, earthquake. Maybe. I don't know, I don't think that a number 3 is earthquake, but might be. Yeah, so number 4, it's drought, засуха. And number 5, it's thunderstorm. Thunderstorm, it's thunder and lightning. Коли ми говоримо про гром і блискавку, so we can say thunderstorm. Or we can say thunder and lightning. Okay, so let's look at the texts from the previous task once again. So now you can see the same texts and we will try to match them. So we will try to match the text with the correct picture and with the natural disaster. Зараз подивимось на ті ж самі тексти з попереднього завдання, але зараз наша задача буде з'єднати текст з малюнком і з назвою стихійного лиха. So you have a very similar task in your reading section on your test, so let's try to do it. So first of all, we need to look through the text and we need to find some keywords. Let's do it with text A. So we have such keywords as high temperatures, the heat, unbearably humid, very dry. And that is number 3, heat wave. Ключові слова в нас тут. High temperatures, високі температури. Heat, спека. Also, we have this sentence. This makes people feel that it's even hotter than it is. Yeah, so when we speak about some very, very hot weather, we can use the word heat wave. Then B. So some keywords are strong winds, torrential rain, lightning. Yeah, so when we speak about lightning, what it can be about? Знову в нас тут зустрічається torrential rain, проливний дощ, дуже сильний дощ. Lightning, блискавка. What about B? So when we have the word lightning, yeah, so it's about a thunderstorm. Good. Тут нам дуже допомагає слово lightning, тому що thunderstorm – it's thunder and lightning. Гром і блискавка. Then the next. This one is really easy to understand. If you just read the first sentence, it will really, really help you. Because we have such words as rapidly rotating columns. Колони повітря, які дуже швидко обертаються. And also we have some information about the speed of them. It's between 180 450 kilometers an hour. So, of course, we speak about number 2, about a tornado. Тут дуже колони повітря, які дуже швидко обертаються, це, звісно, і є торнадо, або можемо сказати смерч. Then number 4. Again, some keywords. Windstorms, storms, typhoons. And it's about one. So number 1, hurricane. So we can say hurricane, or they can also be called typhoons. Yeah, so we understand that it's about uragan, буря. And the last one. So I'm sure you know what is the answer for E, but anyway, so let's look and let's try to find some keywords. So some keywords here are below average precipitation, water shortages, yeah, and we can see that it harms agriculture. Тобто тут ключові слова можна виділити. Рівень опадів нижче звичайного, нижче середнього, недостача, дефіцит води. And we understand that it's about drought. Good. So thank you for your work. So once again, hurricane, ураган, tornado, торнадо, heat wave, спека, період сильної спеки, drought, засуха, thunderstorm, гром і блискавка. So let's go on. Yeah, we've done this task. It's very, very similar to your task in the reading section. It's very similar to the matching task. And we will practice some more reading with you today. And first of all, once again, let's try to recollect what tasks and how many tasks we have in the reading section. So all in all, we have 40 tasks and we have 22 questions in the reading section of your test. So first of all, we start with task 4, questions from 17 to 21, and that is a matching task. So once again, yeah, I know that you know it, but so once again, let's revise, let's recollect what we know about the reading section of the test. Я знаю, що ви це вже все пам'ятаєте, але все ж таки давайте ще раз повторимо, які типи завдань у нас є в секції читання. So task 4, matching. You have 5 short texts or you have 5 advertisements and you will need to match them with some information about them. And the next task, that is multiple choice. Yeah, usually you have a longer text. It is one big text and you will need to find the answers to 5 questions in this section and you will have 4 options to choose from, A, B, C, and D. Then the next one. That is one more matching task. Yeah, it's very similar to what we did with you in the previous slide. So here again, you will have some text. So you will have 6 small texts, or you will have one text divided into 6 parts, and you will need to match each text or each part with the correct information about it. В шостому завданні також мечинг, да? Але тут у нас вже довші тексти, це може бути 6 менших текстів або один великий текст, розділений на 6 частин, і нам потрібно їх з'єднати з інформацією. And the last task, that is task number 7, questions from 33 to 38, it's fill in the gaps task. So you will have one text and you will need to fill the gaps in the text with some phrases or some sentences which you will be given. And today we will practice with you task number 6. So we will practice matching task. And please be very attentive because you always have some extra options. Сьогодні поговоримо про шосте завдання matching. І, будь ласка, дуже уважно, у вас завжди є зайві варіанти відповідей. Тобто варіантів відповідей більше, ніж текстів. Please be very, very careful with that. So, and let's try to revise. Let's discuss some useful tips, how we can do tasks like that. So, first of all, look through the text and try to understand what these texts are about, what is the topic. Тобто спочатку можете продивитись тексти, щоб зрозуміти, яка загалом тема, про що йдеться. Не вчитуйтесь дуже уважно, просто продивіться, щоб зрозуміти тему. After that, it's very nice to read the questions and see what information you should find in the text. Here, you need to be very attentive to details and try to find and underline some keywords. Далі ми читаємо варіанти відповідей, і нам потрібно зрозуміти, що саме нам потрібно в цих текстах знайти. Дуже уважно бути уважними до деталей. Звертайте увагу, виділяйте, підкреслюйте ключові слова. Це дуже-дуже вам допоможе. Then, while reading, choose the best option. And please be very careful, look for some synonyms, look for some paraphrases. And if you find the same words in the text as you have in the options in the answers, it doesn't mean that it's the correct answer. Yeah, you need to pay attention to the details, to the information, and very often we need to look for some synonyms. Дуже уважно, якщо у вас однакові слова зустрічаються в тексті і варіантах відповідей, це не означає, що це правильна відповідь. Можливо, нас заплутають. Тому, будь ласка, звертайте увагу на синоніми, антоніми і перефрази. And then, so after you have completed the task, check the answers, so check the extra answers, the remaining sentences, and make sure that they do not match any of the text. Після того, як виконали всі завдання, не забувайте про ті відповіді, які ви не використали, які в нас є зайвими. Подивіться на них ще раз, вчитайтесь і впевніться, перевірте себе. Впевніться, що вони дійсно не підходять ні до якого тексту. So, let's do it. Now, you can scan this QR code and you can open the reading task. It's a big task. We won't do all numbers, all texts, but we will discuss only the last 3 ones. But to see the whole task, you can scan this QR code and you will see it, so you can complete it fully when you have some free time. Ми не будемо робити зараз все завдання, ви можете відсканувати код і побачити текст повністю, а зараз ми попрацюємо лише з 3 останніми частинками. Але коли у вас буде час, звісно, продивіться і зробіть, потренуйте, зробіть всі інші. So, and let's start. So, first of all, let's read the options. Let's start with the answers. Let's try to read and discuss them. So, A is an oasis in the middle of a public transport center. B replicates a cold ecosystem in warm surroundings. Here, replicates, it means відтворює, повторює. C offers classes to visitors in breeding useful insects. Insects – комахи. Breeding useful insects – це розведення, вирощування корисних комах. D is known for the futuristic architecture. So futuristic, it means very modern, interesting. E is officially recognized as an economical energy consumer. Economical energy consumer, so that is a person or an organization which consumes not much energy. Economical energy consumer – економний споживач енергії. It can be about a person or about an organization. F is maintained by advanced technical equipment. So advanced here, it means very modern, very new technology. D is located on a former city rubbish dump. So you know what is waste dump? Rubbish dump is very, very similar. Тобто у нас щось розташоване на колишньому former, на колишньому сміттєзвалищі. Ми знаємо waste dump, у нас була вже ця фраза, а rubbish dump – це, в принципі, синонім. So, and 8 changes its planned displays throughout the year. Displays – це виставки, показ. And let's start with number 30. So let's look through this text and let's try to choose which option is correct. So I will give you 1 minute to read the text, choose the correct option, and put your answers to the chat. Then we will try to find some keywords and we will discuss it together with you. So I'm waiting for your answers. We will go on when I see some answers in the chat, then we'll discuss what are the keywords. Okay, I can see some answers C. Any other ideas? Yeah, also try to find some keywords. Yeah, so find keywords in the option, in the answer, and in the text. So you always need to find some proof to your answers. Пам'ятаємо, що ми завжди знаходимо підтвердження в тексті, підкреслюємо ці частинки. Також ми звертаємо увагу на ключові слова, це дуже-дуже важливо. Okay, so I can see different answers. Some people say it is C, E, and F. And A. Okay. Interesting. And it is E. Is officially recognized as an economical energy consumer. So let's try to find some keywords in the text. Now, у відповіді в нас говориться, ця організація визнається, офіційно визнається економічним споживачем енергії. So do we have this information in the text? Yes, we have that this center has earned LEED certification for its environmental friendliness and energy efficiency. Вони отримали, ця організація отримала сертифікат, який засвідчує, що вони environmental friendly, вони дружні до навколишнього середовища, тобто вони зберігають його, and energy efficiency. So energy efficiency – це сталість, енергетична сталість. So also a lot of people said that it is C, yes, because you have the word insect in the answer and it's about butterflies. Багато хто обрав C, тому що тут слово butterfly нас збило з толку, це також комаха, but we have no information about breeding insects and we have no information about useful insects. C нам не підходить, тому що тут нічого нема про розведення комах, нічого нема про корисних комах. Тут просто говориться, що там є butterflies. So there are some butterflies there. So let's go to the next one. Again, I will give you some time to think, try some keywords, and then put your answers to the chat. Okay, so I see some answers. Let's wait for some more. Also, if you are ready, if you already know the answer, you can put some keywords to the chat. So some keywords or some key sentences from the text which prove your answer. Okay, some more answers. For number 2 or for text 31. And many people say that it's F, and it is correct. So that is the answer F, is maintained by advanced technical equipment. Підтримується прогресивним технологічним спорядженням. So we have some information about very modern, very advanced technology. And some keywords are modern, also computer controlled, and it all proves that our answer F is correct. And 32, the last one. Again, so read the text, put your answers to the chat, and also name some keywords. I can see the first answer. Waiting for some more. What means reclaim? So here in this context, it means that they wanted to get this territory back, and they reclaimed it back. So they got it back. Reclaim, да, попросити повернути щось. And it is G, you are right. Yes, because we have got such keywords as reclaimed from a site used for waste depositing. So if we speak about waste depositing, it means that it's about rubbish or waste dump. So G is the correct answer here. Good. Okay, thanks a lot. So once again, when you do tasks like that, please always find some proofs in the text, always find some keywords, underline them. And you need to prove to yourself that your answer is correct. Коли виконуєте такі завдання, обов'язково знаходьте речення в тексті, які підтверджують вашу відповідь. А це має бути саме інформація, яка повністю відповідає умові у відповіді. Наприклад, ми трошечки заплутали з 30-м, тому що там було слово butterfly, і в відповіді було слово insect. Тобто ці слова співпадають, але у нас не було всієї інформації в тексті, яка дається у відповіді. А тому перевіряйте себе, обов'язково знаходьте підтвердження. And now, let's go on. So let's look at two beautiful pictures and let's look at some words or some sentences from the text, from this reading task. And so let's try to think what we need to use. Efficiency or efficient in these sentences? Efficiency – ефективність, енергоефективність. Efficient – ефективний, енергоефективний. So what about the first sentence? Do we need to use a noun or an adjective here? So what do you think? Energy efficiency or energy efficient in A? We talk about environmental friendliness and energy. We will use here efficiency. Because we need to use a noun. Тобто тут це іменник. Енергоефективність. And in the second, we will use energy efficient production. Енергічно ефективна продукція, виробництво. So it's an adjective. Good. So let's do the same with some other words. In the first column, we have verbs, and we will try to think about nouns. So first of all, let's take the verb consume. Consume – споживати. So what do you think? What is the noun? Споживання. Consume – споживати. And noun – споживання is consumption. Then number 2, emission. It's a noun. Emission – викиди. And what verb, so which verb we can use to say викидати? Але викидати не сміття, а ми говоримо про якісь випаровування, викиди шкідливих речовин. So usually when we say emission, we talk about cars. Or maybe about some plants, about some factories. And it will be emit. For example, we can say that cars emit CO2. And number 3, install – встановлювати. And noun is installation – встановлення. For example, we can install solar panels, and noun is installation. Number 4. Nouns are pollution – забруднення, or pollutant. Pollutant is a substance or a gas which pollutes the atmosphere or something else. So pollutant – це забрудник, тобто це не людина, яка забруднює, а саме речовина. And the verb is pollute – забруднювати. Then populate – населяти. In number 5, we have two nouns. Yeah, we can have two nouns here. So it can be overpopulation. Це перенаселення. Or we can just simply say population. Населення, population, overpopulation, перенаселення. Number 6 is really easy. I'm sure you know this word. Prediction. Передбачення. Yeah, so then how we can say передбачати? And it's predict. Yes, right? Okay. Preserve. Зберігати. We can preserve some resources or we can preserve environment. Зберігати, охороняти. And noun is preservation. Збереження. Then number 8, we have two nouns. Survival, виживання, and survivor. So it is a person or an animal that survives. Survival – виживання, survivor – виживший. And a verb – виживати is to survive. Okay, yeah, thank you for your answers. So it's very important to know what part of speech it is, and it's very important to pay attention to parts of speech when you do some tasks. And we will try to do it right now. So you have some help on this slide. You can see all these words, and we will need to fill in the gaps in this text. So your task is to read the information, think which word is logically suitable here, and also think about the part of speech. So think if you need a verb or if you need a noun in each gap. And also put your ideas to the chat and put with numbers. So put the number and your answer. If you were asked to imagine what the world will look like in 50 years' time, what would be your... And we understand that here we need to use a noun. So which noun is logically suitable here? I'll give you some seconds to think. And it's prediction. Yeah, it can be prediction or predictions. Може бути в однині, в множині. Тут, в принципі, не змінюється значення. Prediction – передбачення. Number 2. Will we have solved the problem of air? Because we'll all be driving green cars. So it must collocate with air. Yeah. So we need to use a noun again. The problem of air. Pollution. Yes, of course. Забруднення повітря. Проблема забруднення повітря. Good. Then we talk about driving green cars. Whose are less harmful to the environment. So when we talk about cars and when we talk about ecology and cars, usually we use this word. And again, we need a noun here. And also please pay attention that we need a noun in plural, because after the gap we have are. Да, зверніть увагу, що тут нам потрібен іменник і іменник в множині, тому що далі в нас йде are. And it's about emissions, викиди. Then number 4. Will the of solar panels be common practice? So what can we do with solar panels? And we can see an article. Yeah, we see the article there before the gap. So again, we need to use a noun. And of course, it will be installation. Installation of solar panels. Встановлення сонячних батарей. Then the next. So that we no longer have to worry about energy. So we talk here about some green forms of energy that will replace usage of fossil fuels. And we don't have to worry about energy. Consumption, maybe. It's not the most logical here. So, oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, so here consumption, yes. Використання енергії, да? So we don't need to worry about energy consumption. And you remember that fossil fuels – це горючі корисні копалини. Number 6. I believe that goal of mankind is to the environment, so that we can live in a greener world. So what can we do with the environment? If we want to live in a greener world, if we want to have good ecology, then we need to, and it must be a verb, yes? Because before the gap we have to, so after to we need to use a verb, and it's an infinitive. Right, you are to preserve. Щоб зберегти, захистити наше навколишнє середовище. 7. One in which the of the entire world will have enough food and water. And again, so we need to use a noun, because before the gap we have them. So which noun suits? So who needs enough water, food? It's about people, so it's about population, населення. And the last one. This is the only way to ensure the of the human race. Again, we need a noun. Це єдиний шлях, який може забезпечити of the human race. And of course, that's survival, виживання. Good. So you can see that in the last sentence we have the word ensure. And we so it's a very common word, and it is very commonly used in many texts, in many tasks on your test. So we will try to talk about 3 very easily and commonly confused words, and we will try to understand what is the difference between them. So let's look. We have 3 words: ensure, assure, and insure. So the first and the third, they have the same pronunciation, but the spelling is different. So let's try to match these words with their meanings. So what do you think? Number 1. Which of these words means to tell another person something to remove doubt or anxiety? So it means переконати, заспокоїти, переконати. Is it ensure, assure, or insure but with I? Заспокоїти когось, переконати. And that is assure. Then number 2. Something you do to guarantee a specific result. Забезпечити щось, гарантувати. And it will be ensure, but with E. Yeah, so mind the spelling, pay attention to the spelling. Це гарантувати щось. And number 3, it will be ensure, but with I. Yeah, and usually, so there is a word, I think you know it, it's insurance. Є однокорінне слово insurance, страхування. So insure, it's when we usually talk about some money. Тут, коли ми використовуємо слово insure з I, ми говоримо про страхування зазвичай. І в нас є однокорінне слово insurance, страхування. So let's try to use them in the sentences. And the difference will be clear for you. So I hope, I'm sure. Let's start with the first one. I was afraid we'd miss the flight, but my husband, me, would get to the airport in time. So I was afraid, but my husband did what? And he assured me. Він переконав мене, заспокоїв мене. And after this word we often have an object. Найчастіше після слова assure в нас буде використовуватись також додаток. Assured who? You can assure somebody. Then the next. Please send the document by express mail to that it arrives on time. Here we will have ensure. Щоб гарантувати, щоб забезпечити те, що лист прийде вчасно. Number 3. Our house is against fires, floods and theft. And we speak about insurance, страхування, and it will be insured. Our house is insured. Insured against, yeah? So also after insure you can use against. Застрахований на випадок чогось. Then number 4. We ordered 10 pizzas too, that there would be enough food for everybody. Щоб переконати, щоб забезпечити достатню кількість їжі для всіх. And it's ensure. Okay, and the last one. You, that the water here is perfectly safe to drink. Я тебе запевняю. And that is assure. I assure you. Okay, so I hope that the difference between these words is clear for you now. And we will have some more practice. So let's look at the sentences and let's try to choose the correct answer. So it's very similar to the task in the Use of English section. And let's try to do it together and let's try to do it fast. So first of all, let's look through the sentence and let's read the options and then we'll try to choose the best one together. An increased demand for food and fresh water is one of the problems associated with countries. And we have words overestimated, переоцінений, overpopulated, перенаселений, overwhelmed, переповнений емоціями, and overseen, той, за ким спостерігають. So what can be used here? Is one of the problems associated with, of course, overpopulated, перенаселення країни. Good. Number 2. The seminar on the of energy is being held from the 12th to 14th of September. And we've got options: protection, захист, conservation, збереження, prevention. Ми намагаємось завадити чомусь, що може трапитись, and convention, so it's about a document, an agreement. And here, of course, that is B, a seminar on the conservation of energy. Good. We can't say protection of energy, but we can say conservation. Ми не можемо захищати енергію, але ми можемо її зберігати. 3. Ultimately, our goal is to ensure the of the human race. And it's the survival of human race, of course. And number 4, this is the worst we have had in 50 years. And doctors are advising people to drink lots of water and stay out of the sun. So if people need to drink lots of water, if it's very, very sunny, it's very hot, so we talk about heat wave, spека. And some more. According to the weather, it's going to rain all week. So what collocation is very commonly used with weather? Прогноз погоди. According to the weather, prediction, indication, warning, or forecast. Forecast, weather forecast, прогноз погоди. We don't say weather prediction, but we say weather forecast. 6. Solar, wind, and tidal power are all sources of energy. And answers are suspended, revitalized, renewable, inventive. And it's renewable sources of energy, відновлювальні джерела енергії. Then the next one. Due to its hot, dry climate, this region of Africa has experienced numerous over the last 100 years. So it's about hot, dry climate. So the correct answer will be droughts. Drought, засуха. And the last one here, number 8. We must all make an effort to our wildlife. And we have answers restrict, preserve, preserve, and extinguish. Restrict – обмежити, preserve – зберігати, але в значенні заощаджувати. And preserve – зберігати в значенні оберігати. Extinguish – it can mean тушити. We can extinguish fires. So what is the best? And of course it is C. To preserve our wildlife. Щоб зберегти нашу природу. Okay, so thanks a lot. That's it for today. Thank you for your work. I could see so many correct answers in the chat. So I hope that this webinar was useful for you. I hope that you learned some new phrases, new words, and practiced some reading. I wish you to have a wonderful week and see you next week on Monday. Thanks a lot and goodbye.